A deal is being announced today on a border security amendment for the immigration reform bill. In an effort to get more Republicans behind the Gang of Eight bill, the amendment mandates that significant increases to border requirements be met before undocumented immigrants can move from provisional status to legal permanent residency. It would also require 700 miles of fencing and more funding for aerial drones to watch the U.S.-Mexico border.
Well, the details are still emerging, but essentially what it would do is it would put about $30 billion a year towards securing the border. A lot of that would go to just simple boots on the ground, old-fashioned border security, but another good chunk would go towards completing the fence, a 700-mile fence. And this was essentially done to make sure that the bill had not just Republican support, but significant Republican support. I don't think that the bill was in danger necessarily of being filibustered. By that I mean it had 60 votes probably at this juncture without this provision, but the authors of the legislation wanted to get 70 plus votes perhaps, and so they agreed to go to a border strengthening provision written by 2 Republican senators.
Now this seems to be aimed at House Republicans to get over the top in that chamber of Congress. Is that right?
Well, that's the big question, right? Is this going to be enough? There's 2 schools of thought about legislative strategy here. One is that if you pass a huge, overwhelmingly supported bill in the Senate, that the House can't resist it. And that's what they're doing now, is they're willing to make the compromise up front with Republicans in hopes that it would reap benefits down the road with House Republicans. The other school of thought is that the House Republicans were going to have to work their own bill through. You would find a conference report, that is the House Republican bill and the Senate bill would be conferenced together, and then that would be the end result bill. It remains to be seen which way it would work. My money would be that the House Republicans still want to work their own magic on this process, produce their own bill, go to conference and have a say that way rather than just swallow what the Senate produces.
Will there be any risk of losing Democrats in the House?
No. As we've seen over the course of time, Democrats tend to be far more willing to compromise on legislation than Republicans are. This is sort of reminiscent of the healthcare debate in which it was widely speculated that if you lost the public option, you'd lose the Democratic votes. Well, when it came down to it, they weren't going to abandon President Obama. They voted for the healthcare law by and large. Even Dennis Kucinich did. I think we're going to have the same situation here in which Democrats will basically sign on to this bill provided it has a pathway to citizenship.